Engineers, wow, you know what? Live streaming is really difficult, especially for us audio guys. It's been like a whole week of trying to figure out ways that I can use OBS broadcasting software to get Cubase audio into a stream and still have a guest in, and they can hear Cubase and they can see me and I can see them. And whew, the only thing I can figure out how to do to keep it simple enough was to run it as a Zoom meeting. So hopefully this works. It totally didn't work at first. That's why we're 10 minutes late. Sorry. But let's breathe in and soak up 1,000 subs. Thank you, everyone. I don't really have a game plan. I just wanted to do a live stream to say thank you to everyone. We're going to look at We're going to do like a fake plugins this week and look at what's been released because I've been silent for a couple weeks because I've moved. Behind me is the new Dollhouse Studios, built in a lovely home in Whitehorse, Yukon. I'm still moving in, as you can probably tell. You can see in the background, it's pretty hectic. But I busted my butt today to get some of the guitars and keyboards out. So you guys are used to seeing a cool background. And I want to say thank you tonight. I'm not going to be pushing any affiliate links or anything like that. What I'm going to do instead is the opposite. I'm going to offer five free plugin licenses from Melda Production and or United Plugins, who are owned by the same company, if you didn't know. So let me do my screen share here. So I wanted OBS because I can quickly change scenes and stuff, right? If you look at the pinned comment in YouTube chat, you'll get the URL. If you go to my website, dollhousestudios.com/blog, you'll see there is a new form up top. Enter your email to receive a chance at a free Melda license. All you got to put is your name. You can make that up if you want or use your YouTube handle. But the only reason I'm doing this, I need an email. I need an email to send the license to. So that's great. And if you're feeling really horny, click the yes, subscribing to your newsletter, and you'll get early news on plugin releases and sales. But you don't have to at all. Just give your name, donkey, and an email, and off you go. Done. So all night, I'll be taking emails and names. It'll be a first come, first serve basis. And I've got 5 licenses. What have I got? I've got M Drum Enhancer. This is a really innovative plugin that doesn't exactly trigger. It uses the frequency spectrum of your snare, your kick, or your tom to act as a trigger. It's actually faster than triggering, according to them, better than triggering. And you can pull in samples as well as change the tone. Brilliant plugin. A little bit later, we'll watch my video on that. We've got Melda's M drum strip, which to me, this is the first video I ever made on the channel that really popped up, over 1,000 views, which was such a big deal when I had, like 40 subs. And this is M Drum Strip, which is a kit of plugins that you put on every channel of your drums plus your drum bus. And it perfectly tuned to get all sorts of tones really quickly, compression, EQ, gating, reverbs, resonance, all this stuff, all in one suite of plugins. And we'll take a look at that a little bit later. Melda's new M Matcher, which is a bit of a sensation. Really got a lot of results when I covered this in plugins this week. And I know my bro over at Pale Blue Dot Studios got excellent results on this. I was a little less whelmed by it than Pale Blue Dot was. So I'm hoping he can explain it to us. Just so you know, if you do like M Matcher and you don't get a free license tonight, it's on sale right now for $22, down from 114 for only 1.5 more days. So think about that. Fourth plugin that we'll be getting is, so head back to the top. Well, that's the manual. Auto Former. Really, really cool plugin. Kind of an all-in-one little strip that you can put on. Fantastic on vocals. We'll take a look at that in a sec. And United Plugins Bass Riff, which has replaced CLA bass in my toolkit for tuning up bass guitar, getting modulation on it, monoizing the bottom. Really cool plugin. We'll listen to some examples of that in a bit. In the meantime, we're going to do kind of a quick run through of plugins this week. Let me get this over to the shared monitor. Just realized I wasn't sharing that. There we go. Let's see what's happened this week in the world of plugins. And how are you guys all doing? What's a plugin, new plugin you got this year you're using the most? Hit me up in chat. So KVR lists a lot of synth stuff as well. You guys hearing those dogs? The crazy dogs next door. Not good for recording. I'm really gonna have to pad up the vocal booth here. Well, lots of synths. If you like synths, what else is going on? Synths is sharing Zoom audio is not working. I can't share Cubase. So what we'll do instead, so I'll share the desktop, share my other screen. We just looked at Bloom. Bloom sounded really cool. I think you might like this one, Jeremy. And as well as a new reverb, there's a new delay, dual delay X over at Pluginboutique. Can always find the Pluginboutique link in my description for any video. This one looks pretty cool. Let's have a listen to it. Video.
Howdy doody, my name is Cameron, better known as Venus Theory. This is the official UVI YouTube channel, and I'm starting to think that this whole internet thing might really catch on someday. In the spirit of such innovation and adventure, in this video I wanted to share with you 4 things you can try in the new UVI Dual Delay X. Dual Delay X is a multi-mode and multi-purpose delay effect, combining 2 delay lines with unique stereo and modulation parameters and some additional DSP to push your delay into a variety of different sonic directions while remaining easy to understand and get creative with. Dual Delay X, as the name would probably imply, is a delay made up of 2 different delays, one for the left and one for the right. With the standard settings, it sounds a lot like any other delay effect. But by applying some offset to the left and right channels, we could turn a simple delay into a rhythmic groove. And one of the first parameters to start exploring in Dual Delay X that's unique is rotation. Rotation applies a rotating movement to the delay taps, and if we start adjusting the angle of the rotation, we can see in the stereo and phase visualizers that this applies an almost LFO-like offset to all the delay taps. If we increase the feedback to something a bit more extreme here and play just a single note, you'll hear that the delay starts to swirl around your head. The angle controls how subtle or extreme this effect is. If we go up to maybe something like 130 degrees almost, we'll hear this rotate pretty significantly. Of course, combining this with things like a bit of left and right offset, maybe even a shorter delay time and a very high feedback can create some really intense swirling effects. The rotation can be both positive and negative, and if you set it to 180 degrees, this will actually swap the left and right channels, which on this sound isn't really going to do much of anything, but if you applied this on, say, an instrument bus with different instruments panned out to the left and right, it can create some really interesting rhythmic delayed effects that swap the left and right channels. There are actually two modes with this control. We have rotation, which we've already covered, and if we click
Pale Blue Dot Studios, this would be good for adding space to vocals. Yeah, and movement on kind of single shot things like he was just doing there, where it's like, don't, you want to do something like that. I got the headphones on right now, and it's really actually moving around kind of behind the back of my head, which is pretty cool. $19, by the way.
we have reflection. Reflection is a similar idea to rotation, but reflection is a perfectly mirrored offset between the delay taps. So at 0 degrees, it sounds like a regular delay. And if we increase this, it sounds like a ping pong delay. Once again, this can be both positive and negative, and we can entirely flip things with 180 degrees of offset. The feedback shaping section of Dual Delay X allows you to apply several different filters to color the delay taps. We have a low and high cut filter, which allow you to cut off the low and high end to create more vintage style delay effects, and a parametric filter, which we can use to accentuate or even create notched effects to get a lot of different colors and flavors of delay. So without any feedback shaping applied on this drum example, that sounds a lot like a regular digital delay, and I want something a bit more retro and vibey. So with a bit of filtering applied, we get something a bit more authentic. One of the more unique controls of the feedback shaping section is the compensate control. If we increase the gain of the parametric filter, we can accentuate a certain point in the frequency spectrum. However, if we don't gain compensate for this boost, we can get some more extreme feedback effects. This gives us a more pronounced area of the frequency spectrum that resonates more. And if we have no compensation applied whatsoever,
oh yeah,
that can very quickly build up into some extreme feedback effects, which can be fun, but compensate allows you to control how much of that is leaking.
I find myself getting over how much I don't like this guy to actually want this plugin. This is really cool feedback stuff.
Through. Dual Delay X also offers 2 additional modules that I think work really well with feedback shaping to emulate some more authentic retro delay effects, like tape saturation for some grimy tape delays. And Digital Grid, which allows you to apply some bit depth and sample rate reduction effects to emulate some early grimy digital delays. Dual Delay X goes beyond just being a regular delay in a number of ways, but I think one of the most interesting ways is introducing diffusion and dispersion to your delay sounds. With diffusion, we can start to introduce some subtle smearing to the delay sounds. Or with some more extreme values and some higher times and feedbacks, even create full reverb effects, which can get really lush and spacey. Dispersion, on the other hand, if we activate that, introduces some unique all-pass filtering effects, which can create everything from subtly enhanced transients to some more extreme alien sci-fi laser zapping effects. Because diffusion and dispersion create offsets to the delays, if we combine these with some more extreme values along with things like rotation and offsets to the delay lines with a bit of modulation, you can create some actually pretty lush and epic ambient reverb effects.
Okay, now he's really annoying me with the blue layer on his glasses that you only see when he looks down. It's actually pissing me off a little bit.
which actually sound really nice in a mix. Finally, one last tip is to explore automating Dual Delay X. One of my favorite things to control in it is the feedback shaping filter. So here I'm automating things like the frequency and resonance, as well as automating the frequency of the dispersion to create a moving and evolving delay sound that never seems to repeat.
They're pale blue dot blocker glasses. Yeah, you're fully blocked, man. He can't even see you. He'll see you when you ask for a review copy.
Because nearly every parameter can be automated, you could also automate things like the rotation to control how wide the delay feels, or even control the input and output width with some automation to create delay effects that are nice and mono in maybe a verse and explode to full stereo glory in a chorus or breakdown. Finally, to close this video off, I think it would be nice to maybe go through some very quick power user tips to get the most out of using Dual Delay X. One really useful feature of Dual Delay X you might not notice is the ability to lock different parameters like the mix and delay time. So we can right click and lock these and then start swapping through different presets to hear the changes in the delay without hearing the changes in timing or mix.
Locking feature.
This is a really great way to audition a couple of different presets without altering the timing or mix of everything to hear maybe a few quick variations on what you could do with delay in your session. When checking out different parameters and options, you can also use the A and B states to save a state and then swap over to a different one. So we can maybe save this state and then change something like the rotation and maybe introduce
loud as hell,
to have a B setting and swap between them quickly. And let's go back to
He just exploded out the gate.
Maybe we could introduce a little bit more filtering and change this subtly like that.
It's full loudness
Go back to the other one to hear which one is going to work best for our session. Because there are so many different parameters of Dual Delay X, it might be beneficial to quickly reset some of them. And to do that, you can actually just Alt-click any parameter to instantly reset it to the default settings. If you're looking to create some more lush reverb effects inside of Dual Delay X, another handy feature to know about is rotation, because when diffusion and dispersion are activated and they're both cranked to something more extreme, the rotation can actually act as a secondary stage of diffusion. So we can increase the rotation amount, and we can see here in the visualizer that we're getting a lot more diffusion and movement, which takes the sound from something like this and makes it a bit more lush, like this. If you're using
Geez, okay, this thing's impressive. It's like, just shut up and take my money. Add to cart. There we go, 19 bucks. Go, go, go. I realized I didn't have my links in description, so just hit the Pluginboutique link there and find Dual Delay X. That is pretty cool. Next up, plugins this week is the Elysia Alpha Compressor V2. One mastering guy I used to work with in Ottawa had a hardware version of this, and it always looked really sexy. Looks horridly complicated. And United Plugins has released I'm sorry, Plugin Alliance. Sorry, Plugin Alliance has released a version of it. Let's see what they got here. Put it on YouTube so it's bigger. Oops.
Mid-side mastering
Why is everybody so loud?
The Elysia Alpha Compressor is a mid-side mastering compressor that's extremely transparent. It's perfect for controlling dynamics while minimally affecting the tone of your mix. It includes features like feed forward and feedback options, auto fast buttons, a tilt EQ, and a parallel mix knob that helps you control dynamics without drawing attention to the compression applied. Version 2 is rewritten from scratch and now follows our current coding and modeling standards. It includes a fully modeled transformer, which was missing in version 1, in addition to tolerance modeling technology.
TMT, kids. It's got TMT. Am I quiet? I'm clipping on the SSL. Yeah, I don't really dare turn it up too much more. But I don't have compression and limiting like I do in OBS. So this whole OBS thing, this whole Zoom thing is Not really working because it can't grab Cubase. I wanted to play with plugins tonight. I can always flip over to OBS, but that'll take a second, and I can't have guests on the stream if I'm in OBS. Well, let's find out what's up with Alicia.
A gain reduction limiter, a headroom control to adjust gain staging, TX drive that controls how hard the transformer is driven, letting you choose between a cleaner or dirtier sound, stereo imaging knobs, automatic gain compensation, and a scalable UI.
Here comes copyright strike. Pale Blue Dot is saying if I play one of my videos, which are always around mine, it's 14 LUFS. You sound a little quiet, but that's normal for live streaming. Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't have anything in line to compress myself, so I'm full dynamic range here, as opposed to these YouTube videos, which they've crushed into like +1 LUFS. Just hop back a bit here and listen to these.
Your sound, stereo imaging knobs, automatic gain compensation,
Oh, good.
and a
Thank you.
scalable UI.
Do some nice warm stuff on the bottom. A little bit wider in stereo. Chess. Chess. Nice. It's clean. Really opened it up a bit. Little Blue Dot says that UI is useless to me. What is anything? That's what I thought when I saw it in Iraq. I was just like, OMG, the knobs. It's just, I mean, it's just like a compressor across the top, and then some EQ controls in the middle. And then what's he got going on there? Mix control, gain, soft clip. It doesn't, it's just a bunch of blue though. It would have been nice if they made like the EQs red and the other controls green or something.
To demo
Alicia is always very hardware forward in their designs. All Gouda. What else? What else have they done? You like this
Alicia's
snare? Yeah, that's a pretty good snare.
To demo Alicia's Alpha
It's nice and,
Compressor V2,
clean.
start a free Plugin Alliance subscription trial using the link below. This will give you access to all of Plugin Alliance's products for 30 days.
Well, let's see. I had this here. So that's Alicia. That's their page. This is the hardware unit. So it has some really neat features. It has an auto fast setting that when you engage will change its attack if it detects transients over a certain loudness. You can see why this thing was a mastering favorite. And then it's got a big tilt EQ built in. Um, yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. What were they? What was the deal on this one? $60 down from 150. Not bad. I was impressed with how smooth it sounded and pretty transparent, actually. Just some nice thickening and stuff. Neat. What else are we going to look at? So we looked at Bloom. Seems like lots of synths. If you guys are synth hounds, there's lots of new synth stuff. Tourage DSP releases Croc solid. Okay. Croc solid. I'm down. Cleaning, refining, enhancing with precision and character. No need to juggle multiple plugins. Debleeding, dynamic equalization, sample triggering, compression, transient shaping, saturation. Okay, well, let's see what you got here, guys. Have you heard of Tourage? There you go. Trial. I want to demo this so bad. Can't believe I can't share Cubase audio. Everyone, a quick break just to note that I have 5 free Melda production and
How clear can a plugin
no,
name?
no, not him. I have 5 free licenses for Melda production software, M Drum Enhancer, M Drum Strip, M Matcher, Autoformer, and Bass Rift. All you got to do is head off to my site, dahlhousestudios.com/blog, and fill out the form. There we go. Right at the top of my blog on my website. All you got to do is give me a made-up name and your email, submit, first come, first serve, and you will get a license for a Melda production or United plugins, one of the ones that I've just shown you. And we'll take a look at those in a bit, but we'll continue to go through the news. I'm intrigued by this Tourage Croc Solid. The name alone, I want to own Croc Solid. Looks like a free plugin. What's the price on this? Euros and dollars are equal now on their site? $59.25. Huh. Well, that might have to show up next week on Plugins This Week because I'm always looking for drum solutions, though. I gotta say, kids, M Drum Strip, if you're looking for one suite of plugins to mix drums, this thing is sheer magic. Oh, and look who's here on the Melda production page. We can watch a bit of this. YouTube's so loud. Come on, where's the controls for the music? That dang it. Actually, I forgot I was on this page. So how can I watch on YouTube? Oh, the Zoom thing's hiding it. There we go. Now I can get control. No, I can't click on that. Well, I'll pull that up from my channel. M Drum. There we go. Well, Melda. This is so old. I was 15 pounds heavier. And I don't have chapters. The epic of recording, you know, double mic, 2 snares. Oh, my mic audio is awful. Normal set of rack toms, stereo overhead, set of ribbon mics, says L2, L2, semi-distant, and a room mic. Everybody don't freak out. It's going to sound like butt, right? So I've gone in. So the ones that are just kick, snare, side snare right here at the end, these are the group tracks. These are buses. All these individual mics are getting bused to their source, and that's where I'll put them. I've added Hornet's VU Mark IV. An excellent plugin. Forces the RMS of each track to be minus 18 dB. So we get a nice 0 VU off each of them. And then all you do is quick listen. This guy's a really good drummer. He does some crazy stuff by the end. Okay, so what we're supposed to do is get our M drum strip and pull it in. This is the drum bus. We're gonna hit master. It's already pounding it a lot louder. Is there an auto input? All right, so let's get it so that we're at the same level anyway.
Whoa, that's
No auto leveling.
cool. So you just take it.
I'm following the video
Yep, you
instructions.
just take it and put it into each of your mic inputs, or I mean, sorry, your drum tracks, and pick the module within it for your specific. It's got kick, snare, hats, overheads, toms.
It's here. Solo it. Dirty. Tell it it's a bass drum. And I'm supposed to set this to the lowest peak that we're seeing, the lowest regular peak.
So this is really cool. The way that they set up the EQing section is that you find the fundamental, your lowest fundamental, and it sets the other frequency centers up the chain based off of that. And it's really effective.
So I'm going to hit the auto input. Then there's presets. Oh, that's quite nice. Metal. Nasty. Oh, reverb. And a big reverb on it. Pop is tighter. Kind of like that one. Yeah, there's a gate.
So you can see each module, when you look at this, there's a module for bass drum, snare drum, tom, the tom bus, hi-hats, overheads, room, and a New York style parallel channel, and then the master for your bus. And every single unit has a gate, and the dynamics, I'll cover this in a sec. It's got this wonderfully fun pyramidal drag. You just drag the note around and it gets more crushed, more saturated, shorter attack, slower attack. Really incredible unit. It makes mixing drums a lot more fun.
Okay, look at this here.
Units. BK is bleed kill. So you can get cymbals out of your snares, kicks, yada yada.
Okay, let's get some bleed kill. Now there's a reso there. Let's see if we can. Oh, I didn't set my. Oh, it's found it already. So it's already set right to that. This is amazing. It's totally automatic. It's found that fundamental frequency.
So as soon as you insert it, it does its best attempt at finding the lowest fundamental, and it's often already sitting right on it when you open it up. And then Reso Kill is good old, like it sounds, resonant killer, built right in to get rid of rings and other wacky resonances.
Now let's see if we can find that. There we go. Pale Blue Dot says, I forgot about the resonance detection in drum strip. There's a lot to forget about in drum strip. It basically has everything in it that you would ever need to mix drums. It's just all within each module. All right, it's kind of cleaning that up. Back to that bit where you had the toms going and get our gates and bleeds to dealt with. Yep, so gate for every module. Let's move on to another instrument quick. We won't watch the whole video. Yeah. I sold my Rototoms like 20 years ago. I wish I hadn't. They're making a big comeback now. Metal. Rock. Okay, cool. Master one into the tom group. That's kind of cool. Cool. Okay, overheads. Auto input. I'm putting reverb on it. Let's let it do what it wants to do. It's actually not something that I've tended to do. Every now and then on some drum mixes, I'd put a reverb, super high pass reverb on the overheads to add a bit of silk. But it's not something that I normally do. And it's cool to have it here to play with. Okay, just driving it pretty good. That's kind of what I'm used to with my room mics. And it's cool for the room module, they have C kill, cymbal kill. Because, you know, you want to really, usually want to crush the heck out of your room mic. But then the cymbals take over, and they've got a cymbal kill in there just to get rid of cymbals. Let's try that. C kill, cymbal kill, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's amazing. One more thing. We're going to make a new group. This is going to be parallel. And we're going to send stuff over to that. Let's send our kick and room. And we'll send... That is filthy. Oh, yeah. So yeah, that's the final mix we put up on Spotify. Wasn't bad. I thought drums could have been a little bit more forward, but I'm a drummer, so I always want that. And there you go. My drums only mix. Love the toms for Man Drum Strip. Magic on tom. really fair. I mean, the Spotify one is, you know, a finished mix and things are blending a lot better. All of the guitars and bass and vocals. This is a rough mix. This isn't the final mix that I was messing around with. So, and I've been working for 4 hours on the drums and they always end up louder when you work on them. But that is the magic of M Drum Strip, and you guys should really just head over to the site and put your email in, and I'll send you a free license for it. Let me put up a QR code for that real quick. So that is the QR code to go off to my blog and head to the form. Let's see, where's the site? There we go. Head over to the site. Give me a fake first name and your email, and I will send you a license for a Melda Productions plugin and or a United Plugins plugin. Another one up for grabs tonight is, let me share my screen again. This is all so much harder than OBS. I wish I had my OBS. Voila. Okay. Why is this grayed out? Okay, just thinking what the heck. There we go. There, it's not grayed out anymore. So M Matcher, this is quite the plugin. This is a plugin that attempts to match your mix to various, like, it looks like thousands of songs that they've mapped the basic EQ curve for, compared against you know, like a pink noise reference, and try to apply that EQ to your mix. I found it to be a really cool idea. It also tries to emulate speakers and headphones as well, which is is quite the little package. For $22 for a day and a half, I've got one license. So send me your email, dollhousestudios.com/blog, and you might get one of a free license for this. What I'd like to do actually is, let me just switch over here. I'm going to pull up a good video for what the heck is going on. Just going to stop my share here quickly because I can't control Windows when I'm sharing. Okay. We're going to bring up a YouTube video on M Matcher here. Get my screen back. Okay. Hey, look at this.
But increase the accuracy of your headphones. And Melda has released a new comprehensive EQ matching plugin called M Matcher.
One sec. All right, everyone, I need a quick bio break. So I'm going to let PaleBlue.Studios video play on M Matcher. And this is, it turned out to be a lot more than I thought it was. It's a really incredible little plugin. So check it out. I will be back in my seat in 1.75 minutes.
The promise is to not only improve your mixes, but increase the accuracy of your headphones and monitors. Let's see how it stacks up. But first, a big announcement. The PaleBlue.store is live. Use this QR code or the link below to grab shirts with the cool PBD logo. It's a great way to support the channel, and it's 25% off right now until the end of the week. And grab M Matcher and other plugins from Pluginboutique with my affiliate link in the upper right or in the description. And don't forget to like and subscribe, become a member, or join my Patreon. At its heart, M Matcher is an EQ plugin that you can use to analyze your audio and match it to a reference. I'm sure we've all had those times where you need to match vocal takes or you want to get your mix closer to a professional mix. M-Matcher can help with that. Let's say we want this mix to sound a bit more like a pro reference. The amazing thing about M-Matcher is that it comes with a huge library of references, organized not only by style, but by year and artist. This is already a great resource and saves you time from having to capture and save your own references. Of course, M-Matcher can capture references too. Now, the very first thing you want to do before everything else is activate AGC, or Auto Gain Compensation. You'll need to click this toolbar button on the right, and AGC is up near the top. Now, this will compensate for gain changes between your signal and the different profiles. I also think you have to click Set sometimes to set the AGC manually. Personally, I'm not sure why AGC isn't on by default, and I'm not crazy about the fact that it's hidden from view, but I'm glad it's there nonetheless. Then, all you need to do is let M-Matcher analyze the busiest part of your mix. Now let's say we want this to sound a bit more like a Coldplay mix. They've always got great mixes and masters. So we just navigate to the reference in the folder tree on the left. And put the limiter on. Set the AGC. Et voila, M-Matcher has now conformed my mix's spectrum to the reference. For mid-range content, it sounds a little clearer actually. Now this doesn't sound perfect, and no reference is going to instantly sound perfect. So let's see how we can tweak this. With smoothness, we can smooth out the spectrum for a more subtle, natural response.
So I saw some guys talking today on a forum, and they said that the sale was over for M-Matcher, but it is not. As you can see, Pluginboutique has it, $19 still. You can follow Pale Blue Dot's QR code on screen if you want to pick that up. And according to Melda's site, M-Matcher is on sale for 1 day and 22 hours.
And we can see that happening in the analyzer. Or we can make the EQ narrower by turning it down. Now it's using more discrete nodes to try to tightly match it to the reference. You can also blend in some dry signal to regain some of the original tone. Yeah, I like that. And you can open Show Advanced Settings and use Frequency Minimum and Frequency Max to roll off high-end processing or low-end processing. These are like low and high cuts that prevent processing in the signal. When I turn down Frequency Max, I hear more of the original sharper highs come back in. Again, there's a keep level setting here that I wish was turned on by default. I think these automatic gain compensation settings are off by default because Melda intended M-Matcher to capture loudness as well. To each their own, but I'd rather not blow my speakers. So between smoothness, wet-dry mix, and advanced editing, we can get our mixes closer to the pro reference. This is really handy for when your ears are tired or when you have to quickly get a radio-ready mix out to clients. This will come in really handy for my broadcast projects with quick turnaround. Speaking of, you can use M-Matcher to match the EQ between dialogue or vocal session recordings. So I have an old project here where we had to bring the vocal talent in a year later to do a pickup, and the new pickup is much darker sounding. Here's the original.
That's how it works. When you post a job to Max Recruit, your job is automatically distributed to top aggregators such as Glassdoor, Indeed.
And here's the new one.
Here's how it works. When you post a job to Max Recruit, your job is automatically distributed to top aggregators such as Glassdoor.
Much darker, but let's see what M-Match can do. So I'm just going to drag this clip into the pickup here so we have both of the wave files on the same track. And then first we analyze the new track, the one that we want to change.
Here's how it works. When you post a job to Max Recruit, your job is automatically distributed to top aggregators such as Glassdoor, Indeed.
And then we analyze the target or the reference track.
Here's how it works. When you post a job to Max Recruit, your job is
Just refreshing my water. Be right back in a sec.
automatically distributed to top aggregators such as Glassdoor, Indeed, ZipRecruiter.
And there we go. Let's see how it sounds. So here's the original.
Here's how it works. When you post a job to Max Recruit, your job is automatically distributed to top aggregators such.
And here's the new one.
Here's how it works. When you post a job to Max Recruit, your job is automatically distributed. Here's how it works. When you post a job to Max. Here's how it works. When you post a job to Max Recruit, your job is
There we go. That sounds amazing. That's really close. I would use that right away. I don't even think I have to tweak that. That's pretty great. I find a lot of match EQs are really bitchy and you have to really tweak them to get what you want, but this worked for me right away on these voiceovers, so I'm really impressed. And you can use the extensive library to turn your single coil guitar into a humbucker. Or match your individual instruments to an extensive library of professionally mixed instruments. Melda says they're going to expand this library significantly, which is good.
What a strange little plug-in, eh? They're like, oh, we're going to be an EQ matcher and speaker emulator, headphone emulator, and DI guitar emulator. I really loved one of these. The bass on that one is so nice.
Or match your individual instruments to an extensive library of professionally mixed instruments.
Oh, nice.
Melda says they're going to expand this library significantly, which is good. As of this review, I've got a large selection but limited categories. I'm looking forward to that. Now here's where M-Matcher gets extra useful. Melda Productions created a database of frequency responses of hundreds of headphones. So you can just select your model, and M-Matcher will deliver a flat monitoring experience by compensating for your headphones' inherent inaccuracies. Or choose from a list of famous headphones to test your mix out on. I'll choose my headphones. You can see how insanely long this list is. I need to max out the interface here just to find it. Okay. So there are my headphones. To bypass. So
Hey,
they
Pale Blue Dot, I got Tim set a ATH 50s for his birthday.
really flattens out the response. You can actually see what it's doing right here. And we can smooth that out if we want.
All right, James is a very smart man and submitted to get a free license for a Melda or United Plugins license. I've got 5 of them, 5 only. Now I'm just a recent 1,000 sub channel, and I thank you all in my way of saying thanks. But I don't expect many people to be in the live stream tonight. You can try to get a license on the replay of this video later, but no guarantees, guys. First come, first serve. So James is going to get the first one. Don't miss out. dollhousestudios.com/blog. You can give me any name you want and a real email that you're comfortable with giving me, but I need an email so I can send you the license. All right, back to M Matcher from Pale Blue Dot Studios.
Now, of course, this demonstration isn't very useful unless you happen to be wearing Audio-Technica ATH M50Xs, but you can hear how it really flattens out the sound. It removes a lot of the hype, which definitely leads to poor translation when I'm on the headphones a lot. And even cooler than that, if you have a measurement microphone, you can capture your own room and speakers, and M Matcher can compensate for room reflections and your monitors for a flatter response.
I got to do this someday, guys. I've got to just get an Earthworks or something and then try out these various plugins and apps that claim to be able to treat your room via EQ through your speakers. What is one of my hard drives is grinding? I hope you guys can't hear that. Yeah, I'm so curious to see if any of these things actually work. Does anybody use room tuning software? Has anybody had any success with them? I'm quite skeptical myself.
So that means M Matcher can be used more like room correction software like ARC or SonarWorks than just a simple match EQ. That makes it a super competitive product, especially at the introductory sale price of $30. You know, I've been meaning to grab a cheap measurement mic for a while now, and I think this might be the right time for some custom room correction. Melda have once again introduced a fresh spin on a familiar concept, the matching EQ. I really like...
Okay, so cool. There you go. This is one of the plugins up for grabs. All you got to do is give me any name and an email. You don't have to subscribe to the newsletter, but you'll be much the richer for it. dollhousestudios.com/blog. I make sure I got that in the description. Free Melda production. And United plugin licenses. Licenses here. Okay, so that is in the description of the video. No excuses, 5 free licenses. Just give me your email and you're in. No strings attached. I'm not trying to get you to sign up for my newsletter. I just need an email to send it to. So what are we looking at next? We looked at Bloom. Man, I think one of my hard drives is going to die. One of my old platters. Smart Reverb 2. Oh, yeah. I didn't love Smart Reverb. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. I liked Isotope's Aurora a lot better.
just like a marketing video. Let's see if they got an actual demo.
This is Smart Reverb 2, and it will let you step into a new dimension of content-aware mixing with reverb. You can generate a custom reverb effect for every instance, automatically fixing common issues with resonances or overemphasized frequencies. And experiment with a lot of different styles without endlessly clicking through presets.
Great interface.
But the real next level stuff happens in the group mode. You can add multiple instances to one group and control them from a single window, making depth staging super easy and convenient. And you can quickly make some drastic changes to your sound by controlling multiple instances at once.
Hearts beating in time with every laughter and every glance.
So yeah, a lot of possibilities with Smart Reverb 2. Let's dive in. We came up with a new approach to adding depth to your song for Smart Reverb 2. So you'll have to work with it a little
Pale Studios. Have you tried Smart Reverb 2? This thing looks sexy as hell.
differently than you would with a usual reverb. First off, it's primarily designed to be used directly on your audio track. I'll show you how to use it on a send or bus a little bit later. After adding it to my drum track, I'll select the
It only works in Ableton.
suitable profile and click Learn. I can choose between natural sounding reverbs like Room and Hall, and more iconic ones like Spring and Plate. The source-aware processing keeps my drum set sounding crisp and transparent by subtly enhancing the lows and higher mids. I can control its influence with the source adaptation parameter.
Okay, so you did actually try it. Smart EQ style grouping, not very useful. Yeah, I guess you'd for some reason, you maybe want your guitars and synths in one reverb group or something. Yeah. Like I say, I wasn't crazy about Smart Reverb. It was just okay with some cool ideas. But for me, if anybody wants a really cool reverb with smart masking in it, I recommend Aurora from Isotope. I don't know if it's on sale. $49. Yeah. Super reasonable. That's what I bought it for. And that uses spectral unmasking like Soothe 2 or Kerr's Equator at the input to the reverb. And so it will spectrally duck the reverb that you're outputting. And the algorithms of the reverb are really nice, really clean, pretty reverbs, really amazing. So that's where I'm at, but I haven't tried out Smart Reverb 2 yet. I'm gonna have to. I like how you can glide in between all these different styles of reverb with the joystick there.
Let's see what it does on a vocal. I feel like I can get a great atmosphere with a hall-type reverb.
Insensé. Le bon moment pour avouer mes sentiments.
You won't find common reverb controls like reverb time, pre-delay or dry-wet controls in Smart Reverb 2. But don't panic. These perceptive controls,
Oh, thank God. I was about to panic.
will make fine-tuning much more intuitive and give you free creative reign. The first thing I like to do is find the right distance, meaning how far away my source will
It sure is sexy looking though. Wow.
sound.
Le bon moment pour avouer mes sentiments silencieusement passés.
This is similar to a dry-wet control, but it goes further. It also adjusts the reverb's density and tonal cues, so placing sounds in the mix feels more natural and realistic. With my distance set, I'll play with the size of my virtual space. The higher the number, the larger the space will sound.
Le bon moment pour avouer mes sentiments silencieusement passés.
And as a last step, I'll set a width to define how immersive the reverb will sound.
Attendu. Bien trop longtemps, j'ignorais ce qui nous rendait.
Pretty cool. I gotta try this. Next week's plugin this week.
And even with a lot of reverb, I don't have to worry about the level because the auto gain takes care of it. But now, let's get to the real innovation of Smart Reverb 2, group mode. Right now, this mix sounds quite flat. All of the sources are at roughly the same position.
Sparks on the stars, hearts beating in time, with every laughter and every glance.
I'll create a group, add my instances, and let them learn all at once.
Take my hand to
Let's do some
Oh, wow.
depth staging in the distance panel. My lead vocals, for example, should be at the front.
laughter and every glance. Lost in the moment, the sweet
While my electric guitar should be at the back.
my hand to the wonderland. Sparks
Okay. That's actually kind of rad. All right. Yeah. I gotta try this.
on the stars, hearts beating in time, with every laughter and
I'll also push my e-guitar towards the spring style for an iconic
E-guitar. He's got it. E-gwit. I don't like that.
sound that stands out.
Pale Blue Dot says this is so much more work than setting send levels. LOL. Yeah, but it's doing more than that, right? So I mean, it's actually changing the density and tone of the reverb as you're moving it forward and back. Plus, you can place them into different reverb algorithms and then move them around. Like pretty cool. I can see what they're going for. Pale Blue Dot seems underwhelmed. And I trust his opinion, but it's a neat idea. I can see kind of what they're going for.
And I can also make some sweeping changes by selecting multiple instances at once.
beating in time, with every laughter and every
Whoa.
glance. Lost in the moment, the sweetest romance. So take my hand to the wonderland. Sparks on
The parameters will be updated for all selected members. Of
Whoa.
course, we've included some special tools for advanced editing in Smart Reverb 2. To use Smart Reverb 2 on sends and buses, I need to enable the wet mode, which makes the reverb 100% wet. The distance filter creates a very realistic feeling of depth by lowering the highs in signals that are further back. I can turn it off if I want the sound to retain its
So, I mean, you can have your classic send. You can set it and send to it.
brilliance despite a lot of reverb. In the manual override panel, I can cut off my reverb tail for gated reverb effects, and I can emphasize
Ooh.
or tone down the reverb in certain frequency regions.
Ooh.
Mono below ensures that signals with low frequencies do
Holy
not produce
shit.
a booming sound. And lastly, Smart Reverb 2 also comes with these fun modes for special creative effects. If you want to check out these new ways of working with reverb, you should get the 30-day trial at sonable.com.
Okay, I'll get this 30-day trial at Sonable.com. Thanks. Potentially Danish guy. Where are Sonable? Are they Germany? What else has released? Where were we? Reverb 2. Synthesizer Studio. Pitch Innovations. Hornet. Good old Hornet. I love that guy. GUI Snake, Rig Sonics, updates, mostly updates, sampler, Abbey Road Orchestra. That's nice. Spitfire, you can get a free Abbey Road Orchestra thing from them, which is very good. Simple reverb. Free crescendo reverb. Here's a free one, boys. Read more at KBR Audio. Is this like a KBR Audio subsidiary? Now that's a free looking plugin. Oh, we got a DBX. We got a faux DBX here. Looks like a DBX. What was that DBX I covered a couple weeks ago? That new DBX one. It's bloody fantastic. Watch on YouTube. Let's check it out.
Let's start bypassed.
Are all plugins made in Europe now?
And now let's activate the plugin as it is. Hi, this is Simone Cohen, and I'm going to show you TypeX by AudioThing. TypeX is an audio expander modeled after a consumer unit from almost 50 years ago, and it's got some really peculiar features. First of all, TypeX is a linear expander. What it means is that if you look at the transfer function over here on the bottom left of the GUI, you will see that basically the plugin expands both above and below threshold. The threshold is set by the transition level, and the amount of expansion is set by the expansion slider. You can decide whether to work with TypeX on the input or the sidechain input. When you work with the sidechain input, you can also set an independent gain for the external sidechain. You have the usual input, mix, and output knobs, and also a soft clipper you can turn on and off. There's a EQ, high pass and low pass, that you can apply to the sidechain signal. You can add noise, sample.
Just going to break in. I think this is the one I was looking at. Yes, from PSP. This one was fantastic. Which episode was that? May 23rd. Yes, that is it. So I'm going to pull that up because we should really hear that one. That is fantastic. Like a DBX, but better. PSP DRC. Let's find it here. PSP releases DRC. This one came out of nowhere, and I am super stoked to announce this one. A recreation of the legendary DBX 118 compressor. Some unique features of this include expansion as well as compression. This unit is not an emulation of the 118, yet it acts almost exactly like it with tons of new features that are plug-in only. We're going to demo it, but keep your eye on a couple things. First off, the mode. Seriously, guys, this one blew me away. Is it still on sale? Yeah, still on sale, $49.50. Below and above and linear setting, and the compression and expansion knob. This is what gives the DBX 118 and thus the PSP DRC a huge advantage over other compressors, and you'll hear it. And there's the rub right there. You should be able to hear an automatic increase in transients and a really nice soft transient that DBX is legendary for. That's why these are renowned on drums. And here in Plugin Doctor, you can see that transient being spiked almost no matter the setting, other than full expansion. This is the key to that DBX tone. And it's just killer on bass too. Check it out. This is 100% going on the 2025 Plugins of the Year Awards nominations. This thing totally blew me away. I wasn't ready for it. So let's see what these guys have on there. Where were we? Gotta find back where we were. There it is. So this is them playing with the DBX model.
Pulled from the original unit, and of course you can also set the attack and release times. So let's dive in, and we'll go through some audio examples showing off some of the peculiarities of this plugin that I love a lot. So we're starting out with an acoustic drum loop. Let's go. So let's start bypass. And now let's activate the plugin as it is. You can work with the mix.
See, what DBX nailed was that they put, expansion into it as well, which, gives you that incredible ability to preserve transients while decreasing dynamic range overall, with a really soft, pleasant sound.
Okay, so first of all, there's this peculiar way of dealing with dynamics. As you can hear, the effect, even though the expansion is just 1.5, it's actually more dramatic because it happens both above and below threshold. You can also have a monitor of how much increase to the output and decrease to the output level you have in real time with this LED strip. And so this is basically what the plugin can do straight away out of the box. So let me compensate up a bit the output. So basically it changes the whole feel of the beat. So this is the first thing that is interesting. Another very strange thing that happens is when you start toying and playing with the low pass and high pass. It's very exciting, the strange things that can happen. Let's have a listen.
There we go. That's that DBX tone. I use this on parallel on every drum mix I ever did back when I was in the big studio. We had one of the DBX 160s. Just going to bring it into view here. This puppy, the stereo one. It was just always instant drums. It's just one of the most beautiful pieces of hardware ever made. Only $4,000 used. Whoops, wrong DBX. So it's incredible. You can get drums to gate themselves with the expansion.
As you can hear, the effect is pretty dramatic when you go into this strange territory of having a very low pass and a very high pass. It's of course the way the sidechain works that is not linear at all, basically. And this happens, and it's very, very interesting as an effect, and it's very hard to achieve with other things. Let me also show you what you can do with the sidechain. So let's dive into the...
We'll get back to that in a sec. I just want to remind everyone, I've got 5 licenses for Melda plugins and United plugins. Just give me a BS name, but do give me a correct email so I can send you a license. First come, first serve, and your choices are M Drum Enhancer, M Drum Strip, M Matcher, Auto Former, which is an excellent kind of all-in-one finisher strip that you can add to. Great on vocals, really great on vocals, great on bass. And Bass Rift, which is a complete signal processor for bass. They seem to design it for synth bass in mind, but I find it magical on DI'd bass, even amped bass, for getting modulation, monoizing your subs. Incredible. So I've got 1 license for each of those. First come, first serve. Head off to dollhousestudios.com/blog If we don't get enough takers during the live stream, because hey, I'm a tiny channel and I don't live stream much, so I don't expect too many people here tonight for our 1,000 subscriber celebration. I want to thank you all. It means a lot to me. I know 1,000 subs is tiny in the YouTube sphere, but for me, it's a huge milestone, and I'm really, really happy that 1,000 of you have decided to sub to the channel. Only up from here. And I want to say thank you with free plugins. So just head off there and submit your email, and I will send you a free plugin. Let's see what the sidechain does on this X type. Type X, sorry.
To the sidechain, and so you can understand. So now I activated the sidechain input from the hi-hat track of this drum recording. You switch from input to sidechain, and you can also monitor the source. So this is basically the sidechain. It's very loud because I needed to raise the input gain for the sidechain in order to be able to control the whole thing. You will see now, you will hear now. So basically, let's go and see what happens. Of course, we are very low here, so only expansion happens. So you can listen pretty well that now basically the whole signal is commanded by the hi-hat level, basically, which may be very interesting. You can also try and apply the high pass and low pass to the input signal, to the sidechain signal.
So this is incredible. So you can do this and do this massive expansion, these radical things where you're only getting kind of the transients coming through the drum strikes, and just run that parallel, right? So if your drums are starting to get a little lost in the mix, just pull up a parallel bus running this and get all the accents that you want out of the drums and just accentuate them. So this sounds like a really cool thing. And these guys modeled, right, with the PSP one, with the DRC. They're not modeling, they're just trying to get it as close to that as possible. They didn't actually model the circuitry. These guys, it seems like they did. So very cool. All right, whew, it's been 2 hours, guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a final notification to you guys. Thank you for 1,000 subs. Here's to the next 1,000. Head off to dollhousestudios.com/blog. And right at the top of that, temporarily, there will be a form you can fill out. Give me a name and give me an email that you can actually collect from. And I will send you a license to random plugins from Melda and United Plugins. M Drum Enhancer, M Drum Strip, M Matcher, Autoformer, or Bass Rift. First come, first served. Just hit me up. And that's going to be it, guys. I want to thank you very much for the 1,000 subs. It's really appreciated. I do so love doing this. And I'm hoping that we can do it to another 1,000 soon. You all have a good night.